So, you're looking for the best combos for the Moto Gloves Blood Pressure. Well, I'm going to answer that for you guys today with an entire loadout that's filled with the best combination as of June 2025. So enjoy and let's get into it. Now, the Blood Pressures are a very interesting pair of gloves. In minimal wear, they're only $370 and they come up super clean. And like for minimal wear gloves that look so clean, that is banging. And the knife you want to pair it with is a Crimson Web. Now, I've picked the M9 here, which is almost $1,500, but you could go for something much cheaper, closer to $200 if you wanted to cut the budget down. But I just wanted to show that with the Moto Gloves and the big chunky knuckles, you really want a big blade, and the Crimson Web offers this. For the CT agent, I decided to go for FBI Sniper Michael Cyphers this time, about $7.40. You could spend an extra $5 and go for someone sleeveless like Ricksaw. That's personally what I would do, but I think the grey, the red, and the black can work well together. If you want an alternative, maybe consider the cookery knife. In vanilla, it's $290, and again, I like, because we've got greys and blacks going on, I think the black and silver you get with the cookery knife vanilla actually looks pretty good with the gloves. Not quite on the level of the Crimson Web, but is good nonetheless. Then my final suggestion is like the Autotronic. Here's a Karambit just for showcase, and it's $1,830. Again, you can get cheaper, or actually, yeah, you can go like one more expensive than this. But I think overall, the Crimson Web is the obvious correct pick. You guys can let me know in the comments down below what you think about that. Now let's jump over to the weapon skins. I think the Bleeding Edge is such a good pick in minimal wear for the USP. It's $23.91, and I think the red and black vibe it absolutely matches here so well. And when it comes to red and black, I will always like suggesting the P250 Mortos. It's $6.15 in Battle Scarred. The bit you now see as being black actually changed from being red to black for accent colors, which is really nice. If for whatever reason you decide that you need an alternative, you could spend $38 on the Crimson Kimono, but for me, I think the Mortos and Battle Scarred for like much less is just the right play. And then, much like the knife, I am going to say the Desert Eagle Crimson Web is the right choice here. You could have a Code Red in discussion, but I think there's something about Blood Pressure and Crimson Web, I think because the reds are very similar and you don't always get that in CS, and the vibe's just there with them. Good combo for $32. And then Blood Pressure gloves with hemoglobin Joe Berettas that are also red. Like the naming's perfect, the color theme's perfect. They are $11.20, which isn't quite perfect, but it'll do the job for us. Then over in the 5.7, you're going to go for a factory new Urban Hazards. Now I do say this probably has to be factory new because it starts to wear pretty poorly, but when it's only $2.14, it's kind of hard to argue against. This is one that I do struggle to suggest because it's $217 for factory new, but the hot order is just the best option for the MP9 here, so you're going to have to cough up some money. You can argue all day about the Bloodsport being red or orange, but in this case it is our perfect MP7 choice, and the plus side is it is just under that $2 mark, so we're not breaking the bank too much to get it in. I said about not breaking the bank, we're going to increasingly spend a bit more here because the UMP Crimson Foil just ticks that box for me. It looks better in inspect. It's a bit like the Discotech Mac 10 in that way. It's better when you inspect it color-wise, but it is red with silver and black, so I quite like that overall with the gloves. And when we arguably get to silly spending, is spending over $60 on an XM red leather. However, it looks good with the gloves. It looks decent in general. This is just more like a $4 skin max in my opinion, not 60, but it is what it is. Then on the Mag 7, we're going to go for the Petroglyph. I'm a big fan of this Mag 7 actually. I love the artwork style on it. It's only 62 cents as well, which is really nice for us. Then I have two M4A1S choices. Now the one I'm pricing for in this, because it's the more reasonable of the two, is the Cyrex. It's $98 in factory new. Again, you want to get it factory new because it does scuff a little bit, but it's got like the two tones of black. It's got the red, it's got the white. Overall, I think it works together really well, and there's plenty of crafts you can do to really sort of finish this off nicely. The reason I'm using the Cyrex for pricing is because the Hot Rod, while it's good for this combination, especially with those sort of like greyish blacks with the colours on the gloves, it's fucking $2,400. What nut jobs have market manipulated this to this high? It's not even worth like $500, never mind almost $2,500. It's just absurd. You know we're getting unique on the loadout, so when I'm suggesting things like the red daily pack for the M4A4, I am pricing for the souvenir version of factory new, which is $15, much preferable to the non-souvenir pricing. Just gets a bit too high for what it is in my opinion, but really nice fit for me right here. Then we have the new Op Long Dog, minimum wear $275. Now this one color-wise for me is perfect for the gloves, honestly. Really happy with how this came out when I had three different ops in consideration. I think the scope color is quite close to the gloves, which is why I like it so much. And if you need an alternative, you want to look at a red line for field test it, $43, gonna do the job for you. Looks a little bit scuffed at times. I mean, my short answer here is just buy the Long Dog, just flat out better. And the Famous suggestion for this is going to be the roll cage. It's just under the $5 mark, minimal wear. Famous is more usable now. It's going to do the job nicely for us. ZX Spectrum was in consideration, but overall I felt this was better with the gloves. Then we get the lovely side mid to finish off the CT side. Another one's about that $4.50 range. Obviously, lots of red, lots of silver, little yellow accent color that actually works quite nicely with everything. And then we jump over to the T side of things. So I think going for Sir Bloody Silent Darrell, this it's not biased because I own him, but I think the silver axes just work best in this element. Push out the black tattoos coming through. It does its job quite nicely. And then you're going to stick with the Candy Apple Glock. It's under $2 factory new. It is perfect for red and black loadouts, and we just have to pick it here. And you only really get one choice when it comes to the Type 9, but it's a good choice. It's the Isaac. It's $4.30, minimal wear. It does the job nicely for you. And I did run this for a little while because Flame lent me one. You can do cool crafts on it, cool charms to go on it. Nice skin overall. Now, the R8 won its battle today against the ZZ for the last pistol slot. I went for R8 Revolver, 27 cent minimal wear. It's just a no-brainer, and it's one that's like, if you want it, doesn't break the bank. If you don't want it, it's not like we've utilized too much budget elsewhere that you could have maybe wanted to allocate. We do see another Candy Apple come through. This one's factory new for the Mac 10, and it's just over $50, so a bit nicer on the pricing this time. Then I can't lie, we spent a little bit too much on the P90 and the Bison. The P90 is the Shallow Grave. It's $4.41. If you want to spend this much on a P90, I don't really know, but if you want the best pairing, this is what it's going to be. And while I do spend higher on the PP Bison High Roller, because it's over $5, but it's such a cool piece of artwork on a skin, I just felt like we had to showcase it. If you want to go cheaper and throw it away like I have, a Candy Apple is like cheap as fuck, so just enjoy. On the Gale, you have that battle of not really having a true red Gale at all. Signal's going to be the best bet here in my opinion for 77 cent. I don't know how I feel about blue being paired with the blacks here, but it's just going to do the job for the price. Now, AK wise, I think you should be going for the Orbit Mark 1 here. It's $24, and for me, it's such a good pairing with these gloves. You've got these blacky greys into the deep reds. It's just so good for this. You can, however, if you want, go for a red line, which is more expensive in field test. It's $37. The only reason I really like the red line here is because the knuckles on the gloves themselves have the same sort of carbon fiber effect that's on the red line. But when you inspect, you don't actually see that, so you miss that one-for-one connection. For the Scout, I feel like you have to go for the Bloodshot. One, because it's got this, like, the eye, and when you cock it backwards, it has the same sort of red blood effect that you get on the blood pressures, which is kind of cool. It's also just one of the better options in general. And then to end off, we have the Cyberforce. This one's really nice because it's only 8 cent in minimal, so you're not breaking the bank. Now, what does that mean for the total cost of this loadout with the best combos for the blood pressure gloves? Well, if you went for that big M9 Crimson Web, you're going to be talking $2,695, almost $2,700, but a big chunk of that is the knife, so you can cut it down if you wish. A good example of this is when you go to the Kukri knife vanilla, the gold cost drops down to almost $1,500. So that's where going for like a $200 to $300 Crimson Web will get you into that $1,500 mark. And then finally, the Autotronic is a third option if you really wanted to explore your max options. The total loadout cost here is going to be just over $3K. It's actually the most expensive of the bunch, but as I say, I think the Crimson Web is the right choice. You guys can let me know which knife you think should be used here in the comments down below, and I'm going to go end the waffle today. But before I do, I want to say a big thank you to the YouTube members that have been supporting the channel. It is greatly appreciated. If you aren't aware, YouTube members get to skip the queue for our viewer loadout, so if you want to skip the queue for that, we do 2 of them every single month. That's what you do. Hit the join button down below. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.